In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to comp using Zillow, the free way. Let's dive right into the computer. For this example, we're going to use Florida, right? So let's pretend that our deal is in Florida. Let's choose Jacksonville. Why not? Right? So we're just going to choose any property here in Jacksonville. I have a test dummy subject property for us to comp. So really quickly off the bat, we have a Zestimate of $242,000. Now, for those of you that are new to the Zestimate world and Zillow, a Zestimate is just an algorithm pulling solds from within that community or nearby properties. It does not take into account condition, doesn't take into account anything, just the data. So is it accurate? Sometimes, depending on the area. There is a website specifically on Zillow that breaks down how the Zestimate works. Usually it's anywhere from 10 to 20% delta. So it's not always accurate. Sometimes it is, but I do use it just as a guidance because more often than not, you can gather enough information from metro markets off of the Zillow's estimate. So we'll just keep that in the back of our heads. 242 was the Zestimate. Now, if we start seeing a lot of properties selling in that 240, 230 range, then we know we may have an accurate Zestimate. So the first thing you do, again, let's say this is your subject property that you need to comp. Again, this is just a test dummy. If you want to skip trace it, go for it. Send me a referral if you lock it down. So first thing I like to do is I like to take the address here and copy it, because when you first input it into Zillow, it's more than likely not going to show you the community. So what I do really quickly, this works if you do have two screens, because then you can put one on one screen and then the other on the other one. So perfect example, sometimes it doesn't go right into the neighborhood. And so all you do is go back into Zillow and copy and paste the address in the search bar. And you click enter. Now that should bring you into the community. Perfect. And the reason you use two tabs is because in case you forget any of the data, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,200 square foot, year build, etc., you can just switch back to the tab and it'll be right there. So very first thing I do is I start to set my filters, right? So for me, we'll just use this first one and we'll set some filters here. So we'll hit more on the top bar. And my first filter is always sold in the last 90 days, right? Sold in the last 90 days. And you can watch this video where I explain why sold in the last 30 days is more beneficial. And it's actually a comping video for utilizing PropStream. So 90 days, I can already see off the bat there's activity in the 230K range. So the yellow icons are the ones that are previously sold. All the grayed out ones have not sold yet. And so my second trigger, so trigger 1 is set your last sold date to 90 days, right? Your second trigger should be your square footage. This is 1,200 square feet. So let's do a max of 1,500. Now we want to aim for a 200 to 250 over under on the square feet. So we're probably not going to use a 1,500, but we can use 1,450. If we have to use 1,500, so be it, right? And then the next thing that I like to do is the year build. So let's find the year build. 1977 year build. And this is, let's see, it's a brick property. It is brick. Obviously, we can see that by the pictures. 1977, so we can go up to max 1987 and a minimum of 1967 because there's a 10-year over under on both sides. And then our bedroom count is 3 bed, 2 bath. You can set 2 bed, 2 bath. And let's just see what it gives us here. Okay, so I did notice that this one that was highlighted did go away immediately. So I wonder why. The square footage. So this is 810 square feet, and that sold for 230. So we'll keep that in the back of our heads. So just here within this community, there's nothing selling in the last 3 months that's over 2 bedrooms and 2 bath, maximum square footage 1,500, and within the year built that we have. So what we do is either press this minus arrow to zoom the map out, or you can scroll the wheel on your mouse, right? So we'll scroll out a little bit and see what we get here. Now, you don't want to go way far out of the community, right? If you absolutely have to, there's absolutely no data, no comps, then you'll do that. So I do see a 2.7 here, and some folks will run to that immediately. But let's not do that just yet. We'd like to stay in this community right here because our subject property is right around here, right? So let's zoom out a little bit more, see if we get anything else. Nothing. All right, so what we can do is just stay within this square here. Here's when you start pulling back your triggers. We have a 90-day sold. Let's go back 6 months. 6 months gives us something. If you can see, there's 2 comps. We won't use the 276 because that's way out of the area. But the 250 comp is literally in our street, in our community. So let's go ahead and dive into that and see exactly what's going on. So we'll click 250. The very first thing we see is it's a brick home. It's a single story and it's been flipped, right? So all we do is click through the pictures. Okay, this was a low entry flip, just carpet, paint, baseboards, obviously the ceiling fans. Those are all pretty basic, pretty old. I mean, even the it looks like textured ceiling. Doesn't look like popcorn, but textured. Let's see. Just look through these pictures. Yeah, this is more like a lipstick paint and done. That's it. Yeah, it's lipstick, carpet. That's it. Very low entry. So we'll use this as one of our comps because it meets all of our triggers. This is a 1,400 square foot, 3 bed, 2 bath, falls right within our guidelines for comparables, right? So we have one at 250, okay? Now, since that's the only one, let's go check out the 270 that sold 2 streets over, even though we are crossing one main road, right? Let's just check it out. Let's just see what the difference is, okay? So it's a 2 bed, 2 bath, and this sold for $270,000. 988 square feet. Now let's check if it was a complete remodel. It is a brick house, it is a single story, and it does have a garage. Let's check. I can tell the floorings have been done here, not the baseboards. There's no paint that was done, so this is probably a live-in property. Yeah, this is definitely not flipped. Maybe the floors, the kitchen with that counter. I mean, this is a cheap counter. You can build this yourself, but this is very cheap. Let's see. Yeah, this is old, outdated. Yep. Even you can tell by these lights too. Right here. But if you notice something, this community, this area, they're all using this textured ceiling with this type of fan. So this kind of tells you the amount of rehab you should or shouldn't do. This one was definitely not flipped, and it sold for $270. Again, much smaller property. So what we can do here is, again, we want to stay within this street. Let's go back just to check. Let's go back 12 months. Let's see if anything else has sold. Nothing else has sold in that area, right? So let's keep our triggers back at the 6 months, because we know we have a valid comparable right here at 250. Here's what we can do just to see if any smaller properties have sold within that 90-day mark. Let's check. We can let go of our bedroom bath triggers and see what pops up, what shows up in the area. There's one down here crossing a street at 110. This is more of a manufactured. We won't use that as a comp. Okay, let's see what other triggers we can let loose here a little bit. Let's take off the 1967 and let's see what happens. Okay, so we have a lot of older activities on properties. There's one that sold right here for $230. Again, this one was very small, 810 square feet. What you could do is search this address and see if you find any pictures on Redfin, or Realtor.com is usually a good place to check. Let's check this out. There you go. Realtor.com does have pictures for us. So let's see if this property was flipped at all. And this shows 1,200 square feet. Definitely not flipped. Okay. Definitely not flipped as is. So that means whoever bought this bought it as is around the 230 mark this year. Right? So we know properties are selling as is around 230 to 250. Now what you notice is there are no flips in this immediate community. What you could do is just range outside and see if there are any flips going on. For example, this one up here, this is a flip. It's not a direct comparable because it's way outside, but we can just do homework. This is an exact flip, and this sold for $275, right? Let's see if there's any other flips in the area. Let's see this. This one have pictures. No pictures there. This one was a flip as well, sold for that 250. 250 range again. This one is probably a flip as well. Sold for that 280-ish. So just with this information that we have here, I personally would put the ARV somewhere in the ballpark of 250 to 260 max. That's probably where I would set that ARV. Again, this one was more of like a light touch-up flip, carpet paint, baseboard, just the very minimals. Not going too crazy. So that can actually dictate what you do to the property. You may not need to go all full countertops and everything, the whole nine on a flip if the community doesn't call for it, because you can still sell it on a quick lipstick flip. So for this, I would set that ARV from 250, 260 just to be conservative. You can also do the price per square feet model here within this community, but that's where I personally would use that as my ARV and then work my numbers backwards to generate a MAO. And this is exactly how you want to utilize Zillow to count properties. Use the data, try to stay within that community, and just look outside, see if there's flips going on, what they're selling for, and what's the extent of that flip. Is it a full remodel, complete, or is it just a lipstick like what we're seeing here? The Zestimate was around that 240. So it is right on par, right? 240, 250. So that's what I would use as well. 250, 260 being the max. If you have the wiggle room in the repairs to bring it up to the 260, you may just have to add a couple more little touches, but that's probably where my max would be. And if you really want to be conservative, then you'll set your ARV to 250, which is one of the comps that sold here in the same street. Little smaller comp, but it definitely sold here last year in November. So you can set it to 250. You know you have a direct comp. There you go.